Video descriptions are provided for informational purposes only. Watchers should not interpret any part of this description as reflecting an analytical judgment, investigative conclusion, or factual determination regarding the described event's validity, nature, or significance.
Nothing happens till 1 minute and 55 seconds. An area of contrast becomes distinguishable against the background in the center of the right side of the display. The IR sensor pans to center on the area of contrast. The sensor field of view narrows to zoom in on the area of contrast. The area of contrast remains generally in the center of the sensor field of view. The sensor motion causes the area of contrast to move erratically across the display. Due to this motion, the sensor system repeatedly loses and reacquires the area of contrast within the center area of the display. At the 5-second mark, the video depicts an object moving from right to left across the top right quarter of the sensor field of view. Contrast moves from the left side of the sensor field of view to the right side, exiting the scene from the bottom right. The sensor narrows its field of view to zoom in on an area of contrast near the center of the screen. The sensor tracks the area of contrast as it moves against the ocean background. As the background scene transitions from being predominantly water to land, the area of contrast becomes indistinguishable. Video description. An area of contrast enters the sensor field of view from the bottom left quarter of the screen. The area of contrast moves back and forth horizontally across the field of view as the sensor pans to track it. The area of contrast remains generally centered within the sensor field of view. The sensor designates the area of contrast with a blue reticle, synchronizing its motion with the area of contrast's relative position. The sensor engages a contrast filter to better differentiate the area of contrast from the background. The area of contrast becomes indistinguishable against the background, and the reticle drops its lock. After losing lock, the sensor rapidly cycles zoom levels and contrast thresholds. The video depicts two areas of contrast moving together near the center of the field of view throughout the runtime. May 1st of 2020 in Middle East. Video description. An area of contrast briefly enters the sensor field of view from the left side of the screen. The sensor pans away from the scene's initial subject matter while cycling contrast settings and zoom levels. The area of contrast re-enters the sensor field of view from near the center of the top edge of the screen. The area of contrast remains generally within the sensor field of view. The sensor narrows its field of view to zoom in on the area of contrast. The sensor further narrows its field of view to zoom in on the area of contrast. A blue reticle briefly appears on screen, but does not acquire a lock on the area of contrast. The sensor switches to a different modality and loses track of the area of contrast. An area of contrast visually resembling an inverted teardrop with a vertically linear trailing mass suspended below remains generally within the center of the sensor field of view throughout the video. Two semi-transparent, irregularly shaped orange areas overlay the background. Appears near the center of the top edge of the sensor display. The sensor pans down and to the right to focus on an area of contrast. The sensor tracks the area of contrast against the background for approximately 3 minutes, panning to maintain its position generally within the center of the frame. The sensor cycles contrast and zoom levels several times throughout, appearing as brief, bright white flashes across the frame. The sensor cycles through reticles of various sizes while continuing to track the area of contrast. Between 420 and 423, the area of contrast briefly leaves the center of the sensor field of view. The sensor field of view widens to zoom out from the scene, continuing to track the area of contrast. The sensor stops tracking the area of contrast, at which point it exits the frame from the top left quadrant of the screen.